films after dark with Alex Grace?
All the time. I'd love to go and see Alex in his natural habitat. And I'd usually wear my bright orange hoodie that says, "I heart Alex Grace," and then I'd walk in and maybe to see if he'd get the chance to interview me or something.
Miss Cooper, were you ever actually told that you could be there?
No, I'm technically supposed to stay about 500 feet away from Alex and not be in the building where he works. But I figured that since I was helping his career that he wouldn't mind.
Miss Cooper, let's back up for a minute. Alex Grace has a restraining order against you?
Yeah.
Were you on set June 29, 2017?
Yeah, I was.
How did you get in?
The door.
The door? Was it locked?
No, it's never been locked before.
Well, what did you do when you walked in? Did anyone stop you?
No, I just walked in. I was wearing my hoodie and I just walked in.
Did anyone from MTS ask you to leave?
No.
Ms. Cooper, would you recognize a photograph or a diagram of the set from that day?
Yeah, I would.
Showing opposing counsel, it's been previously marked as Exhibit 1. Approaching the witness. Would Your Honor like a copy? Yes, please. Ms. Cooper, what did I just hand you?
This is a copy of the layout of the set.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of how the set looked that day?
Yeah, it is.
Is it changed at all?
No.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense offers Exhibit number 1 into evidence.
Without objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Cooper, would you recognize an enlarged version of that picture if I showed it to you?
Yeah, I would.
Permission for this witness to step down and make use of a demonstrative? Ms. Cooper, is this just an enlarged version of that diagram?
Yeah, it is.
Can you describe what you did after you just walked onto set that day?
Well, I walked in right here at the stage entrance. And then after that, I kind of just wandered around the set. I walked across the stage, over here to the offstage entrance, and that's where I saw Alex talking to Danny Kosak by his buffet. And then after that, I realized that I forgot my pen. And so I went to go check Alex's desk to see if there was one. And so I walked over here and checked his desk, and there wasn't one. But then I checked under the desk chairs, and there wasn't one there either. And so then I realized that I forgot to wipe the camera lenses. So I walked over here and wiped all the camera lenses. And then that's when I went back on the search for the pen. But this time I checked the sound booths, so I checked both the sound booths, and there was no pen. So after that, I just walked over here and I took my seat right about here so I could get a perfect view of Alex's desk.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. You can sit back down. Ms. Cooper, did you notice any food being set up near the set?
Well, it was like by the set, kind of through a hallway. There was a whole buffet.
Was that food ever moved?
Well, it was approved about 15 minutes before the monkey got on set.
Did you see Danny Kosak that day?
Yeah, Kosak was talking to Alex about Alex was talking to Kosak about how much contact he could have with the chimpanzee during the show.
What did Alex Grace say?
Well, that's when Alex said, well, Kosak asked Alex if Alex had even read the guidelines. And then that's when Alex said, "Guidelines and rules are different, Danny. Besides, in show business, everybody needs to improvise."
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Did you watch the rehearsal itself that day?
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
Well, I sat down in my seat, and that's when Alex was seated at his desk, and then in the two chairs beside him, Elias sat in the one closest, and then Kosak sat in the other one, and they started doing an interview or something.
How did that interview go?
Really good at first, and then all of a sudden Kosak stood up and walked off behind one of the cameras. I was worried about Alex at first, but then Kosak started giving Elias like some sort of hand signals or something, and so the monkey was still able to do the show.
Did anything happen a while after that?
Well then, during the interview, it was all going really well at first, and then during the interview, Alex kind of leaned towards the chimp, and then it lost it. It started jumping up on the chair and screaming, and all of a sudden it jumped up and made a beeline for Crystal Ivana.
Ms. Cooper, to clarify, what was the last thing that happened before Elias attacked?
It was when Alex leaned towards the monkey.
Cooper. I have no further questions.
Cross-examination, Your Honor? May I inquire? Your Honor?
Yes.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Now, I want to talk about some things that you said on direct examination. You mentioned that you just walked onto the set,
Yeah, I did.
and you said that you wandered around,
Yeah, for about 15 minutes.
but really, you had to be very quiet.
Well, yeah, it was a TV studio, and I like to act like I'm not really there, so that way I can see what's really going on behind the scenes.
You had to be quiet because you weren't supposed to be there.
Well, no, not technically, but nobody's ever really stopped me before.
You had to be quiet because a security guard would find you and throw you out.
Well, yeah, I saw him that day, actually, but he never said anything to me.
Now, on direct examination, you came up here and you drew all over this board saying that you went everywhere.
Yeah,
You remember giving a prior statement in today's case?
yeah, I did.
Would you recognize it if I showed it to you?
Sure.
Approaching opposing counsel with witnesses affidavit.
May I ask what mine?
Approaching the witness with the same. Would Your Honor like a courtesy copy?
Yes, please. Thanks.
This is your affidavit.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's your signature on the last page.
Yeah, it is.
You were told to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
You said it under oath.
Mm-hmm.
The same oath you're under today.
Yeah.
You were told to include any information that was relevant to the events of June 29th.
Yeah, I did.
Can you please point to where in this affidavit you mention this adventure?
Oh, well, there's like 15 minutes that I didn't really talk about. That's when I did all that.
So, just to be clear, you cannot point to anywhere in your prior sworn statement regarding this adventure of yours.
Well, I didn't know that I was supposed to include like everything I did that day. I mean, I did a lot more walking than just that, too.
Today is the first time we hear of this adventure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you wanted to know more, I mean, I can tell you more about what I did that day. I did a lot more walking around the set, too.
Now, drawing you back to my question, you never mentioned this walk-around tour of yours until today.
And
Yes
not
or no?
specifically.
Approaching the witness to retrieve the affidavit. You also mentioned on direct examination some food, a buffet table.
Yeah, there was a buffet that Midlands had set up for everybody.
The defendant, he complained about this buffet.
Yeah,
And after she complained, MTS staff moved the buffet.
yeah, they moved it out about 15 minutes before the monkey got on set.
They complied with his request.
Yeah,
While this was all going on, you heard the defendant mumbling to themselves.
yeah, I heard something or other.
Well, what you heard was the defendant saying, maybe it's too soon.
Yeah, but I didn't really know what she was talking about.
Well, you didn't know what she was talking about, but you heard her say, maybe it's too soon.
Yeah,
You heard her say, it can't be like the last time.
yeah, I think she was a little nervous, because I know I'd be nervous if I was going to be interviewed by Alex Grace.
Now, I'm not asking you to speculate as to why she was saying this. All I'm saying is you heard her say, it can't be like the last time.
Yeah, that's what she said, but I figured she was just nervous.
You heard her say, thank goodness no one will be in the audience to see this.
Yeah,
You heard her say, if something goes wrong, Grace deserves whatever Grace gets.
and he does. Alex deserves the best.
Now, at this time, you didn't see any bandages on the defendant's arm.
No, I don't think so.
Later on, you saw the defendant walk onto the stage with their chimpanzee.
Yeah, I did.
That was a few minutes later.
Mhm.
At this time, you did see bandages on the defendant's arm.
Yeah, it was kind of like an ace bandage or something.
Now, during the rehearsal, it started out with the defendant in this chair and the chimpanzee in this chair.
Yeah, that's right.
And as the rehearsal progressed, the defendant got up and walked right over here.
Yeah, so that way she'd still have like a
I'm not asking you to speculate as to why the defendant moved. All I'm saying is you saw the defendant move here.
Yeah,
That's about 20 feet away from the chimpanzee.
just about.
You also saw a group of writers.
Yeah,
They were about 15 feet away.
they were.
So needless to say, the writers were closer to the chimpanzee than the defendant was.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Because 15 feet is closer than 20 feet.
Yeah, it is.
Later on, a few days later, you went to Chris Villafana's piece.
I did. I was hoping to see Alex, but I guess that he just didn't want to take away any of the attention from the Villafana family, so I just stayed.
You didn't see Alex Grace, but you did see the defendant.
Yeah, I did.
And you heard the defendant say, I shouldn't have been so far away with something that was so new to Elias.
Yeah, that's what she said.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.